Every December, the same thing happens. The list of best carry guns finally gets honest. Not because of trends, not because of new pistols dropped, but because a whole year of real carry exposes what actually works and what never should have been trusted. By the time December rolls around, the fluff is gone, the excuses are gone, and the guns people pretended to carry all year quietly disappear from their holsters. What's left are the pistols that survived 12 months of sweat, daily movement, training, neglect, mistakes, tight schedules, long drives, real errands, and real life. The ones people carried because they had to, not because they wanted to show them off. So this isn't exactly a new gun showcase. This is the end-of-year truth list. The 9mm pistols that actually earned their spot in real everyday carry, not online carry. Now let's start off with number 15. I don't care who you are. The Mete MC9 is one of those little 9mm that shoots better than it has any right to. It's almost irritating. You pick it up expecting just another compact, and then the damn thing starts punching tighter groups than pistols twice its price. That's why people keep calling it a little bastard, not because it's bad, but because it performs like it's trying to embarrass everything around it. What gets me is how quickly it settles into your natural rhythm. No warm-up, no adjustment period, just point, press, and the rounds land exactly where they should. Fast splits, easy recoil control, and a trigger that's way cleaner than anyone expects from a gun this size. It shoots like it knows something about you. Sure, complaints have floated around online this year. Finish wear, a hiccup here or there, but none of it seems to stick. And honestly, Canik support is still better than what half the Taurus crowd went through in 2025. The MC9 isn't here because it's pretty or fancy, it's here because it performs above its weight class every single time you touch it. Annoying? Absolutely. But that's exactly why it earns the number 15 spot. The Dagger Compact wasn't still supposed to be here in December. Be honest. Most people treat this thing like a temporary gun, a hold me over, something you buy because it's cheap, shoot a bit, and then eventually replace it with something sexier. But month after month, pile after pile of 9mm releases, this little budget brute just kept hanging on. What pushed it this far wasn't accuracy or features, mind you. It was the simple fact that it never gave you a reason to take it out of your rotation. A year full of new guns, optics-ready slides, fancy triggers, metal frames, and yet the Dagger was the one that stayed. It took sweat, dust, rough handling, cheap ammo, bad holsters, pocket lint, glove box heat, and shrugged all of it off without acting special. Some guns climb the list because they impress you. This one climbed because it refused to disappoint you. That's how a budget pistol outlived guns that cost triple. That's how it made it to December. Not by being perfect, by never giving you a reason to move on. There's a pistol that exposes shooters faster than any bad trigger pull ever could. I've seen people walk onto the range blaming everything: the sights, the ammo, the lighting, the wind, their mood, and the moment this thing touches their hands, all that noise collapses. No warm-up, no settling in. Just a brutal, clean shot group that tells the truth instantly. If you weren't ready to see your real skill level, this gun doesn't care. What makes it dangerous isn't the power or size, it's honesty. The VP9 is the 9mm everyone pretends they don't compare their guns to, but absolutely do. When a new pistol feels strange, you reach for this to confirm it's the gun or if you're slipping. When someone swears their firearm shoots left, you hand them this and the argument dies before they can finish their sentence. It's not flashy, not trendy, and it doesn't need to be. The VP9 earned its December spot by being the reference point that never wavered while everything else shifted around it. And if the next gun managed to beat this benchmark, you already know it didn't do it politely. There's a moment every shooter hits where the gun in your hand calls you out. Not with malfunctions, not with drama, but with results you can't argue with. The Hellcat Pro did that to me this year, in this month, and if you've ever shot a pistol that exposed your bad habits faster than you wanted, you know exactly what I mean. This gun doesn't flatter you, it doesn't hide sloppy grip, it doesn't smooth over lazy trigger work. It shows you everything, the good and the ugly, and it does so instantly. And that's why it belongs in a December list for you, not for me. Because once you tighten up and really run it, the Hellcat Pro snaps into this rhythm that feels locked to your intentions. It's like the moment you step up, the gun steps up harder. When you're on, it's on. When you drift, it punishes you. When you dial in, it rewards you with control that almost feels unfair for its size. Most guns on this list make your year easier. This one makes your shooting better. There's a difference, and if you carry, you know how big that difference is. But the next pistol, that one didn't just expose flaws, it exposed limitations shooters didn't even realize they had. Most compact pistols blend together. If you shoot enough of them, you can predict exactly how they'll behave before the first round leaves the barrel, and I don't trust ads. Companies will swear a gun is flawless right up until it's in your hand doing the opposite. I only believe what survives my testing, not what someone prints on a glossy page. The P365X macro didn't survive testing, it punched through it. I ran mixed ammo, cheap stuff, old defensive rounds, even some steel case leftovers just to see if it would choke. And it didn't. Not once. Not a hiccup, not a hesitation, not a weird feed angle, nothing. Just clean cycling and flat tracking from a pistol that shouldn't even be this stable in the first place. The first magazine made me look twice. By the fifth, I knew SIG wasn't bluffing on this one. Bigger pistols still feel softer, smaller pistols still vanish easier, but this footprint shouldn't shoot this smooth, stay this composed, or hold this much ammo without giving something up, and yet, here we are. It's the compact that breaks the rules and gets away with it. People love to joke about Glocks right up until it's time to buy a gun they actually rely on. November proved that. While every company pushed out new releases, the Glock 19 Gen 5 quietly became the most purchased pistol of the month. When people opened their wallets before December, this is the one they took home. And there's a reason for that. End of the year gets messy. Long drives, packed stores, late nights, and unfamiliar places. December doesn't care what your favorite gun is. It cares what works when you're not at your best. And the 19 Gen 5 doesn't demand anything from you. You grab it, point it, press. It behaves exactly the way you expect every single time. That's why it's an incredible EDC. Not because it's exciting, but because it removes worry. You don't wonder if it'll cycle, you don't question the trigger, you don't second guess the grip. Glock built this thing to stay consistent no matter what kind of day you're having. Before Christmas, people don't gamble, they pick the gun that settles the mind. Glock is trust, and trust is Glock. Want to know about the next gun? It didn't beat Glock by being trusted, it beat it by doing something Glock doesn't even try to do. Some pistols feel polite, but this one doesn't. The M&P9 metal shows up like it wants a rematch before the first shot even breaks. There's a weight in the frame that isn't just mass, it's attitude. You feel it the moment your hand closes around it. This thing didn't come here to behave. The drill that sold me wasn't smooth. I was already tired, pushing split times faster than I should have, hands shaking, breathing uneven, the kind of run where most compact pistols start snapping out of rhythm. But the metal did not care. Every time I drove it harder, it locked in deeper. The sights came back like they were pulled on a string. It fought with me, not against me, And that's when I realized this thing wasn't built to be polite, it was built to take pressure and throw it back cleaner. Polymer guns can be quicker to carry, lighter guns can disappear easier, but nothing in this size class fights with this kind of backbone. It's a pistol that feels earned, not advertised, not polished or softened. It's a fighter, plain and simple. If this one's a fighter, the next gun ends fights. Every year, companies drop shiny new pistols, louder ads, and bigger promises, and by December, most of that hype has already cooled off. But the Ruger Security 9, this thing just refuses to fade. It's not pretty, not modern, not trying to win internet points, but it keeps showing up in the hands of people who care more about getting home safe than looking tactical on Instagram. What surprised me this December wasn't the gun itself, it was how steady it stayed when everything else felt off. Cold hands, gloves, frozen range benches, stiff magazines, the Security 9 didn't give a fluff. It cycled like it always does. Quiet, predictable, unfazed. While newer pistols struggle with winter grip changes or ammo that loses a little punch in the cold, this thing keeps running like the year didn't touch it. New guns might shoot softer, high-end guns look cleaner, but the Security 9 brings something outdoor shooters recognize immediately: consistency when conditions get ugly. December exposes weak pistols, and this one doesn't flinch. It may not dominate conversations, but it survives every season regardless. And if this one survives winter, the next gun doesn't just survive, it steals the spotlight. Who ever thought an Italian Don would take a position in our heritage? A Beretta stepping into the American EDC world like it owns the room. But the APX A1 didn't rise this high because of tradition, it climbed because it shoots like it's tired of being underestimated. This pistol is best for the shooter who wants speed without chaos, confidence without bulk, and a grip that feels like it was carved for real hands and not showroom photos. The slide cuts, the tracking, the snap, everything feels sharper than you expect from something that's supposed to be the outsider in the 9mm carry game. And December is where this gun actually shows its teeth. Cold fingers, gloves, rush draw, heavy jackets, the APX A1 still locks into your palm like it refuses to let go. The controls stay clean, the recoil stays forward, and the confidence stays high even when the weather tries to rob your footing. For the shooter who wants a pistol that feels fast, planted, and quietly dangerous, this is the one that proved an Italian can compete on American soil without asking for permission. Think you're heading outdoors? Real outdoors, and not a cozy range bay, not a flat concrete lane? I'm talking cold wind, uneven ground, wet clothes, your fingers half numbed. When you're out there, you don't want the fanciest gun, you want the one that refuses to quit. And like it or not, the Taurus G2C has become that pistol for a lot of shooters. It's the gun you grab when you don't want to think, when the weather is trash, when the terrain is annoying, when conditions don't care what your budget is. I've run this thing through mud, sand, wet grass, even the kind of sloppy fields where your shoes lose the fight long before you do. The G2C just keeps cycling like nothing ever happened. No drama, no panic, no sudden attitude change. It's not pretty and it's not trying to impress you, it's trying to outlast the day. For anyone who hikes, camps, hunts, works land, or just lives outside the neat edges of town, the G2C makes sense. It's rugged in a way that feels honest, but the next one, it doesn't just survive outdoors, it owns it. There aren't many pistols that walk into the US market with zero respect and then earn it the hard way. However, the Tisas PX9 Compact happens to be the exception. People laughed at it. Cheap Turkish 9mm, budget clone, won't last a season. That was all the noise right up until they actually shot the thing. The PX9 Compact doesn't try to surprise you, it just performs. The recoil impulse is calmer than the price suggests, the frame feels planted, and for an EDC, it carries like a gun that knows it has something to prove. This isn't a pistol you buy to impress anyone, it's a pistol you carry because it keeps shutting people up every time it fires. I've watched shooters walk in convinced it was a joke and walk out admitting it ran better than guns double its price. And that's the whole point. It didn't win anyone over with marketing. It won by punching way above its weight every single time. It came in doubted, but it left respected. The next gun doesn't just earn respect, it demands it. If you don't care about price, if you want the kind of 9mm pistol that doesn't explain itself, doesn't apologize, and doesn't sit on the same shelf as anything else, then yep, you're the exact reason this gun made the list. The Wilson Combat EDC X9 isn't about value, it's about having something built so precisely that every other pistol you own suddenly feels mass-produced. This thing isn't premium, it's surgical. The slide feels like it's riding on glass, the trigger breaks like it's been tuned by someone who refuses to accept good enough, and the recoil impulse, it's got this low, confident thump that makes you wonder why other guns can't behave like this. People say price doesn't define performance, and that's true, but sometimes craftsmanship does. And the EDC X9 is what happens when a company builds a carry pistol with zero shortcuts, zero excuses, and zero interest in competing with anything under its class. It's not for everyone, it's for shooters who just want the best and don't pretend otherwise. Next gun, whole different attitude. The CZ hype this year was booming. Every forum, every range line, every shooter who finally picked one up kept saying the same thing over and over. Why didn't I buy this sooner? But hype doesn't mean anything to me in December. December shows you which pistols people actually carry, and somehow the P10C is the underdog that climbed past expectations when it mattered most. Let me clear the story. This 9mm wasn't supposed to dominate the end of the year. It wasn't supposed to challenge the bigger names. It wasn't supposed to drag attention away from guns with way more marketing money behind them. But the second you start driving it fast, the second the trigger snaps and the recoil comes straight back instead of wondering, you get it. You understand why people suddenly won't shut up about it. The P10C didn't win December because CZ pushed it. It won because shooters ran it and it refused to fall short. End of November, cold evening, indoor range humming. I was packing up when a guy walked in wearing an old service jacket. Not flashy, not trying to impress anyone. He laid down an effing 509 Compact like it was an old friend he didn't need to introduce. I asked him why he still ran that thing when the whole world's chasing newer, trendier 9mm. He just smiled and said, because this one already proved itself when it mattered. He told me he carried a full-size effing overseas, and when he got out, the 509 Compact felt like the same backbone in a smaller body. No nonsense, no weird behavior, no guessing. If a gun keeps its manners under stress, he said, it'll treat you right when life gets simple again. I watched him run a few drills. Clean, controlled, almost boring in the best way. The recoil settled fast, the sights returned like they'd been drilled into muscle memory years ago. It wasn't flashy, it was familiar. That kind of confidence just sticks with you. The 509 Compact isn't hype, it's heritage trimmed down to EDC size. Alright, enough warm-ups, let's end this. And here is our number one. There's always going to be one gun every year that feels like it wasn't designed for the rest of us. It feels like it was designed for the people who run toward the noise while everyone else runs away. That's the Springfield Echelon for you. The first time I racked it, I felt the same thing everyone eventually feels with this gun. This isn't a pistol trying to impress you, it's a pistol daring you to keep up. What hit me hardest wasn't the modularity or the capacity or any spec on a sheet. It was the way the Echelon behaves when you push it past the line where normal pistols would start falling apart. Fast strings, nasty angles, awkward grip, gloves, cold hands, it didn't matter. The slide tracks like it's on a rail you can't see, and the gun keeps asking, "That all you got?" This isn't the most popular gun, it's not the easiest or the cheapest, but in December, when the year turned rough and people wanted something that felt like it could end a problem instead of surviving one, the Echelon took the crown. This is the top spot for a reason. There's nothing else like it. And that's the December list, the end of year reality check. These aren't the pistols people talk about when the cameras are rolling. These are the ones that stayed on real hips in real holsters through real days. If a gun made it to December, it wasn't by luck, it proved something. Comfort, reliability, and consistency. The kind of traits that only matter after hundreds of draws, thousands of steps, and a whole year of living your life with that weight on your belt. If this list made you reconsider what you actually carry, that's a win. The worst thing you can do is carry a gun you only think you trust. So drop your everyday carry down below. The real answers always show up there. I'm Steve, so stay sharp, carry what deserves the spot, and let's start the next year right.